Welcome in, everybody, to the In Off the Bench podcast. My name is Jim Cross. We got a special daytime episode, so Daniel Ball is not here, but it's an episode that cannot be missed. But first, we must plug the sponsors: Chinook Cidery, 8 flavors, mild to wild, the best in the game, less salt, no sandpaper tongue. Jesus One Apparel, empowering young men and women. John 16:33, inspiring people to be bold about their faith and start the conversation. But with that being said, man, Ethan Norby. Been waiting on this a while. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I told you the storms are bad, but it could not stop this episode from happening. And it must have been meant to be because we had to cancel last night's, but here we are. We're getting it done early in the morning, 9 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. your time. Got to get your story in. You know, where it starts is where you're from. So for those who don't know, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We lived there for about 9 years, and then we moved to North Carolina as my mom got a job opportunity, and I've lived here ever since.
All right, well, let me go to Minnesota for a second because I've been up there one time and I'll never go back because I went during the winter, which was a massive mistake. Like, is it nice to be out of those cold winters?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you can't play baseball. Like, I remember, like, our little league tryouts were in, like, a dome. Like, you couldn't go outside and play until, like, May.
Yeah, not ideal for a baseball player, no doubt. Does keep rest on the arm as a pitcher, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, it does.
But talk to me about North Carolina. If I was to come there, we always like to ask where you're from. What's like the one thing you would tell people to do if they came to visit?
Oh, man. Just specifically North Carolina?
We'll go with where you're from specifically.
Oh, man. Low-key, I kind of come from a small town. Man, you gotta try out just like the food. Like, I think the food is just way better in the South than it is up north. I mean, you got all like your classic flavors, like barbecue, all that stuff is just so much better. And I think that would just be the biggest thing, is just going to get some better food.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a food spot. Ironically, we ask this question all the time and finally got to put it into play a couple weeks ago. Riding to cover the Tennessee-Florida series. I guess that was about a month ago now. But stopped in Lexington, Tennessee, checked out this barbecue joint where they actually do the whole pig, and went by there and got to try it. So it was kind of crazy to hear it a couple years ago. Happened to remember it and stop through there. So I will, if I get out there, because I've been needing to get out to the jungle. The fans out there, every episode we do with one of your fellow teammates, they're like, when are you going to make it out here? It's a 14-hour drive, though. It's not an easy trek, but I will definitely get the food when I'm there. But, when it comes to family, yours is one where it can't be denied. You have an older brother who obviously is a talent within himself. What was it like growing up? Was it one of those things, is a heated rivalry? Was it one of those things that, man, he took you under his wing? How'd it go?
It was definitely a heated rivalry for sure. He was always like just the better player. He always worked harder than me, and he just had way more talent than me, and he was obviously way more confident than me. So all those things added up to just me being a little brother that kind of just followed him around, but secretly was like trying to get at him a little bit, but. Yeah, he's been great. I mean, our relationship has really taken its next couple steps ever since I came to college, and even when he went to college, we kept growing closer and closer. And now that we're playing, more real baseball, I guess, like we've just really gotten close and been able to talk about things that other people don't understand because they've never really done it before.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about him being better, obviously being an older, sibling, but man, I'll tell you, we've been doing this show 5 years now, and usually the younger sibling comes out to be the better one because of that fuel, trying to be like the older one, what they've learned along the way. It never fails. So that whole dynamic that you're talking about, just learning from him, chasing him, is what ultimately a lot of times can end to you being greater. I'm not saying you necessarily are, but hey, you definitely have the recipe there. And then you have a guy now, like you said, those conversations. Now it's not so much competitive, right? You can lean in when it comes to trying to figure out things of the game, like you said, that no one else has. But let me ask about mom and dad. He's obviously playing pro ball. You're playing college ball. Do they have any trouble navigating trying to get to see both you guys play?
I would say my mom has probably like the most, just because she comes every weekend to my games. She'll come every Friday night and always be there for me. Even on the road, she'll come out. My dad still lives in Minnesota, so it's harder for him to come see us. But he'll come out every couple months and watch me play, and then go watch Connor play as well. But I know my mom was down there because he's on the IO right now. So she was down there last week, just kind of hanging out with him and checking up on him. But she's been awesome so
Yeah, I
far.
mean, I meet all these parents, and I don't know how they do it. I say I got lucky. I wish my son would have been an athlete. It was actually just my daughter, but navigating two schedules, and some of these parents, it's not even just two; it's three, sometimes even four. And I don't know how they do it. All over the place. My favorite was Cameron James' dad, Greg, who also had Keegan, who was playing pro ball, and then his older sister was a pitcher at Jones College, and he somehow would make all three every game. And I was like, I don't know how you do it. And he's like, I drive through the night, I don't sleep. And I was like, that seems crazy. I was like, what about work? He's like, man, I'll make it up later. He's like, I got one chance at doing this. And so, man, shout out to the parents out there that just when you got multiple kids out there playing, trying to navigate everything. But with ECU, you're a North Carolina kid, your brother goes there. Was it always ECU, or did you actually consider some other schools?
Yeah, I mean, I think at first I put my ego in the way, and I was like, no, I'm not going to ECU. Like, that's the last place I want to go. Like, I'm tired of being, Connor's little brother. And then I was pretty under recruited all through high school. I wasn't very good until like later in my junior year. And so, other schools started hitting me up, and I was like, yeah, I didn't really find one that I really liked. And then boom, I got that first call from Austin Knight, our pitching coach. And it was like all these waves of emotion, just like thinking about me being able to, play at the same place. And, I've watched regionals here, and I've felt what the, players feel before I even got here, just how amazing this place is. And it was a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah, I feel like just within the state of North Carolina, all the guys we talk to that are from there, like there's no chance you guys are going anywhere outside the state.
Yeah.
Like you grow up
Such
watching
good
those things.
baseball.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many elite teams, environments like you talk about. Like, there's just no way to go outside of it. And when you get that opportunity, yeah, definitely doing it. But freshman year, you appeared in 20 games, had 10 starts, eventually working your way to the weekend rotation. 4-0 record, 3.79 ERA, 63 Ks, and 59 in the third innings. First, did you expect to get that much playing time? And then second, I always like to ask during freshman season, what was the one thing you learned the most?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected, to pitch a little bit, but we had some injuries go down, and I think that really propelled me into playing a lot more. And then the thing I learned most, man, just go out there and compete. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, I think everyone gets caught up in like, the metrics and, whether or not like you're throwing hard or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, if you're going out there and getting outs, you're going to play. And
Mhm.
I mean, that's straight
I
up the truth.
mean, the best mindset that I see over and over again is pitchers who are throwing strikes, not having a lot of walks, attacking the hitters, because this ultimately is a game of failure. Even if you put it in the strike zone, they're going to fail more times than not. And like you said, compete. And that's the thing I think of when you compete. Just going at hitters. I like when it's best on best and not backing down. So, and a guy like you, somebody who, based upon everything I've seen, is not scared to go at anyone. And coming to this year, high expectations for ECU. Obviously, you lost a lot of older guys, leaders in the locker room, Jacob, Ryan, Carter. And so you have to replace things like that. But, a lot of talent. And y'all left no doubt early, specifically you in that Coastal Carolina game, because I'm very high on Coastal Carolina. Had them preseason ranked. They obviously ranked by a lot of teams now. And the way you just, let's call it, man, you own them. All right. 19 Ks. I'm sure you've been asked a lot about that game specifically, but I got to know right off the top, what'd you have for breakfast that day?
What did I have for breakfast that day? Oh man, I might have not had breakfast that day. I might have been. I usually get too nervous to eat before games. So
Missed NIL opportunity. It's so funny, man. Trey Richardson from TCU came on here and said he had IHOP that morning, and that's actually how that came to be. But no, it's funny, man. Days like that, a lot of times, athletes can remember the whole day just because of the way it went. But, 19 Ks.
I black out.
Like that video, like, it's funny. Like I told you, I'm gonna, add on. I wasn't prepared this morning for the intro video. I gotta clip it because 19 Ks takes forever to get through. It'd be the longest intro video ever. Like, I mean, you were just, mowing them down. Like, what was the feeling? Because I think back, we had Paul Skeens on here, and he talked about flow was his word. I don't know what your word may be.
That's like the perfect word to describe it, honestly.
Yeah, like, what's it like when you just said kind of like blackout, but what's it like knowing that like nobody can touch you?
Honestly, I really don't remember pitching that much in that game. I remember being in the dugout between innings, and that was almost all I remember. It was an out of body.
Baseball is truly a cruel sport, and I'll tell you because whether we've had walk-off grand slams or we've had no hitters, whatever, none of the baseball players can remember. When I played football, I remember everything. Y'all, the good or the bad, man. Y'all don't remember the best moments. Y'all all black out.
Yeah, I just feel like my body just took over and just kind of did it.
It's like as an LSU fan, man, I'm in Omaha when Tommy White hits the walk-off bomb in the 11th, and he's like, you don't even remember it. And I'm like, I remember everything about it. So it's crazy, but you were absolutely electric. The team now is 20-10 to get off not just you, but the team as a whole on a 5-game win streak. What's the vibe in the locker room right now? It's got to be good.
Crazy high. Something that we've really talked about recently was just like being positive and, having positive touches. So past couple games, we've really been like boom, 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 boom for like everything, like quabs, like all this stuff, just touching each other, and it's infectious. And, guys are really feeling the positive energy, and we're going up there having a better at bats, putting together better innings on the mound. And it's been pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, you see the record. I talk about winning 5 in a row, trying to get y'all's footing, and I think that's what we talked about, right? A lot of guys left. You got new guys coming in. You got to get that chemistry in it, and it feels like it's there. And so, you got big series with Florida Atlantic, Charlotte coming up, but that first one, man, they're coming into Clark LeClaire. We talk about the jungle, arguably a top 5 environment in the country, even as a mid-major. Like when I look at ECU, I don't even like that term mid-major because I feel like that is, man, top tier elite atmosphere. So obviously you have them coming in, man. How excited, like you said, with the way this team is playing to have them come into y'all's house this weekend and keep it going.
Yeah, I just want us to show up. That's been our biggest Achilles heel, has just been showing up every day, being consistent, just because we're so young and not a lot of us have played a lot of college baseball. And so just really being mature about our just approaches to the game and how we go about our business. And if we can do that, I think we'll have some success this weekend for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I look forward to seeing it. But before I cut you loose, man, we play a game with every guest. Very simple, this or that. You down to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this or that is brought to you by Old Dominic Distillery in the heart of downtown Memphis. Vodka, whiskey, bourbon, gin, they got it all, the best in the business. Check them out. But simple, out the gate, sunflower seeds or chewing gum?
Sunflower seeds for sure.
All right, what's your favorite flavor?
Either cracked pepper or dilly pea.
Oh, dill pickle, it's gross, man.
I love
it's
dill
pickle. Good thing Daniel ain't here. He is anti-dill pickle.
Really? Dang. Y'all sleeping.
I don't know, but I will say this. I think every time it has been said, it's a pitcher. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's that thing.
We're interesting, especially us lefties, man.
All right. Would you rather attend the party or host the party?
Host.
No doubt. I'm the same way. I like to be in control. I don't know. It's the kind of thing. But this next one's interesting considering the night I had last night. Would you rather have no money or no internet?
That's tough.
And I say that because it's always easy to say no money. But let me tell you, last night, can't do the show.
Yeah.
Can't watch TV. My phone's not even working well because I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. Like I'm sitting in a house with nothing to do, like money in my pocket, fine, but like it ain't helping me none.
I'll go no money. I'll go hustle.
I think people don't realize, there's a lot going on. But I will say is, a guy who's a baseball player at the end of the day, the weather last night you couldn't have, but more times than not, you can go outside and play ball at minimal if you don't have any internet. So let me ask you this question. This is my favorite question when we have a pitcher. Striking them out, man. Fastball or off speed?
Fastball. Blowing their doors off. Come on. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. Some guys like making them look foolish. I think it looks good either way, especially like you're saying, the fastball. My thing is, I always want them swinging. Like if I was a pitcher, I want to make sure that to me, it feels like you own them. Of course, with the fastball, that's the way it's going to go, right? The off speed is going to be the one that's looking. You've been seeing these pitching clips. The pitching ninja's been releasing a lot of these MLB guys to start the season.
Yeah, they're nasty,
dude. Defying the laws of physics, and like, so people are talking about the torpedo bat or whatever. Hey, that's well and great, but against certain guys, that's not going to matter. I brought up having Skeens on here. The funny thing about him is talking to guys that he faced that we had on the show, like was talking to Brock Wilken and Nick Kurtz from Wake Forest, and they're like, that's the guy we had to face in Omaha, and he's only getting better. So it's crazy. And then my favorite tweet of the year, like I'm off Twitter now because people are crazy, but you'll laugh at this one. After Tennessee won, I had someone tweet me, if Paul Skeens would have had to face the 2024 Tennessee lineup, they would have owned him. Wow. And I was like, he's literally the rookie of the year in the MLB. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's a crazy take.
All right. Pinstripes or lavender uniforms?
I'm gonna go lavender for sure. The powder purples.
I don't know where I stand on them. Like, I like them, and then I don't like them. Like, I'm really torn. I don't know, but I'm a big pins guy for a lot of teams.
The fit on the pin or the powders is way better. The pins are kind of heavy.
I got it. Well, Phil, I tell you, that's why a lot of the guys on certain teams do pick. People don't understand. Like, I remember Vance Honeycutt coming on here and talking about he liked the vest uniform is the best. And I was like, oh, man, that's gross. And he's like, man, it feels like you're wearing nothing. I was like, all right, well, that makes sense then. All right, this in-state question: Duke or North Carolina this weekend? Who you got?
Neither. Neither of them. No. All right. If I had to choose one, though, just because I got a lot more friends over there, I'll go Carolina.
It's an interesting one because North Carolina's kind of trending the wrong way and Duke's trending the right after a slow start. And so this is one that normally wouldn't have been circled a couple weeks ago with the way it's going. I think North Carolina's going to win, but man, if Duke does, like they resurfaced for a team who started epically bad. All right, if you could only choose one, bucket list concert or bucket list sporting event?
Sporting event, absolutely.
What is your bucket list sporting event? Where are you going?
Probably Dodger Stadium. Watching Clayton Kershaw pitch.
Got to be Game 7, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They obviously had the walk-off moment with Ohtani. Austin Riley's a two-time guest of this show, so I low-key root for the Braves, even though I'm not a Braves fan. And so to see them winless and get swept and walk off by the Dodgers kind of hurt my heart a little bit. But that's baseball, right? Last question, hardest question we usually ask. Would you rather do 5 years in prison or 10 years in a coma?
5 years in prison. I think I would just, try and get like absolutely ripped if I was in prison.
That's the only way. Like,
yeah.
We have some guys who come on here and the first thing they'll say is, well, I'm going to try to make friends. And that's the right thing to do too. But I don't know, man. The first thing I started thinking was exactly what you did. I'm a proponent of the prison. My best friend, the host, he will not touch prison. He said if I was in prison, he wouldn't even visit me. That's what he feels about prison. So he's taking the nap. But 10 years is a big part of your life. For you, man, you'd be 30 years old. For me, my kids would be grown up. I don't know, man. 5 years, I'm just gonna have to find a way to make it.
You can get better. Like, you can read books, try and get smarter and all that stuff.
Well, and all these movies, man, they got like baseball leagues in prison. I feel like you're going to thrive.
That'd be all right.
All right, man. Well, that's the high C. You're off. Man, anything you want to plug or promote, whether for yourself or the team, anything you got?
I mean, I was just going to say that I'm wearing a Jesus One shirt and you're sponsored by him. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I had reached out to Carter when they did. And we got an episode coming up, man, you may appreciate. We're going to have Matt from Jesus One on, as well as Tanner Allen, former national champion from the 2021 Mississippi State team. But an opportunity for Matt to really explain what Jesus One is all about. When he gave me the call and wanted to be a part of this show, it was funny. He started talking like contract stuff, and I was like, man, look, if I send you athletes, will you take care of them? And I'll tell you right now, the shirts arrived to LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss. Y'all have already got yours, Virginia Tech, and like he's a man of his word. And that's all I wanted to see was people out there representing. So I love that you wore it on the show and popped it up. He'll love to see that. But man, continue to do what y'all are doing out there. Stay hot. continue to, man, build the momentum. I hope to see, man, like I can't wait till ECU's hosting a regional again. I know y'all got a long way to get there. You have to continue to trend, but at the very minimum, I know that y'all are the last 2 seed that anybody would want to see. I know as an LSU fan, if you were coming to our region, I'd be pissed. No, I don't want anything to do with them ECU cats. So, man, stay healthy, have fun, and man, just enjoy the game.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's Ethan Norby, everybody. If you want to hear his story or you just want to hear us Average Joe's talk X's and O's, please like and share on Facebook. Go over to Twitter, even though I'm not there anymore. Go to YouTube, subscribe. But we'll be back next week with Daniel. We got a full slate. But remember, in the meantime, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.